Alright, 5th graders, here's your first video for science class. Please make sure that you have your notes page with you that you were given in class. You are going to be expected to follow along and take notes with this video, and then bring your completed notes to class so we can get that page glued into your notebooks. If you do not have your notes page or you have misplaced them, you may go to the original website and find a link so that you can print out your notes page. Alright, so if you have your notes ready and your pencil is sharpened, let's begin. Science Video 1, Process versus Cycle. What is a cycle? A cycle is something that happens over and over and over the same way. Some cycles are a part of everyday life. Is order important in these steps? Alright, in a cycle, we are going to write sometimes order is important. And sometimes order is not important. And as we go through our example, we are going to find some situations where order is important and order is not important. So we'll look at that in our next slide. An example of a cycle in our everyday life would be our school day. So you're going to think to yourself, all right, the first thing that we do in our school day cycle is get up. So you can take this get up label and put it in your first block. After you have gotten up, you are going to take a shower. And there's not an arrow in between here, so let's take our marker or our pencil and create an arrow to shower. Alright, so we've gotten up, we've taken our shower. Next, you are going to get dressed. You may write that in the third block. After we've gotten dressed, we're going to eat breakfast and then brush our teeth. After we've brushed our teeth, we are ready to go to school. Once we've gotten to school, we are going to go through our school day. After our school day is complete, you can go home. Yahoo! Alright, after you have gotten home, you may do your homework. And then let's eat dinner. Then you can have some chill time and watch TV. And then you go to bed. And then the next morning, your cycle starts all over again. You get up, you shower, you get dressed, you eat breakfast, you brush your teeth, you go to school, you go through your school day, you go home, you do your homework, you eat dinner, you watch TV, and then you go to bed. Alright, on our last slide, we talked about where order was important. And an example in this cycle where order would be important is you should probably eat before brushing your teeth. And an example of where order would not be important is you may watch TV after you have eaten dinner or before. Moving right along to our fourth slide, we are going to look at an example of a cycle in science. Here, we're going to create an entry for our science notebook. So you're going to think to yourself, all right, the first step in this cycle would be going to your table of contents and creating your entry with the date, time, and page number. After you have done that, you are going to turn to your next available page in your notebook. Your third step in this cycle would be to make sure that the spiral is on the left side and not the right. And this step is just making sure that you're on the front of your page and not the back of your page. Alright, after you have that, you may write your date in the top left of your page, and then your page number in the top right of your page. And then you're going to finish your cycle by writing the title on your title line. Alright, in the example where order is important, these first three steps in this cycle would be important. You would first want to create your table of contents, and then turn to your next available page, and then check to make sure that the spiral is on the left side. Your last three steps of this cycle would not be as important. You may write your page number first, and then your title, and then your date. Or you may write your title first, and then take care of your date, and then your page number. Alright, moving right along to our next slide, we are going to look at process. What is a process? A process is something that happens step by step. Usually, materials or conditions are needed for the process to happen. Usually, there is a product, get my eraser up here, make sure I spell the word product correctly. Or outcome, for the process at the end. Sometimes processes are a part of everyday life. Alright, is order important in these steps? Yes, order is important in a process. So we're going to put down here, yes, order is important, and the product or the outcome would take longer to get to if the steps were out of order. And we're going to look at that in our examples. So one process in our everyday life is brushing our teeth. So the materials that we need in order to brush our teeth are going to be our toothpaste, our brush, and water. So our first step in this process would be to squeeze the toothpaste onto our brush. The second step of this process would be to brush your teeth. making sure to get all those sugar bugs out of your mouth. All right, step 3 would be to rinse your mouth. Spitting out all those sugar bugs, and then rinse your brush. And then clean your area. Alright, the steps of this process would be important. You would make sure to squeeze your toothpaste out before you started brushing your teeth. If you didn't, then your outcome would take longer to achieve. So let's look at our outcome. Our outcome would be clean teeth. So in a process, your steps are important. It is essential that you do your steps in the correct order. Whereas in the cycle, sometimes order is important and sometimes order is not important. All right, let's look at an example of a process in science. In science this week, we're going to be working with the scientific process. In the scientific process, we need to make sure that we do our steps in order because it's very important for the outcome of our lab. So the first step in the scientific process is purpose. The second step is research. The third step is hypothesis. The fourth step is experiment. Your fifth step is analysis. And your last step is going to be conclusion. So over here on the right, I've given you an A, B, C, D, E, F, and let's look. All right. A, finding out about the topic. Let's think to ourselves, which step of the scientific process would be finding out about the topic? All right, you've guessed it. It is research. So over here on the second step, we're going to put A, because research is finding out about our topic. B, in which step do we compare the hypothesis to the results of the experiment and make a statement about what the investigation shows based on the data? That is going to be conclusion, the last step of our scientific process. Cross it out. You're doing good, fifth graders. Keep it up. You're almost done with your first video. All right, C, where do we record our observations and results of the experiment? We are going to organize our information in a table or in a graph. That's going to be analysis, the fifth step of our scientific process. D, state the problem as a testable question. What are you trying to learn? You've got it. That's going to be your purpose. The first step of our scientific process. All right, E says, predict the outcome of the problem. Written in an if-then statement. Ding, 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 ding. Let's underline that. And can be proven or disproven. And you are never wrong. So where do we write that if-then statement? It's going to be in your hypothesis. So let's label hypothesis or the third step as E. And then last but not least, develop a procedure to test the hypothesis. This involves our constant, which is the thing that stays the same, and our variable, which is the thing that changes. That is going to be your actual experiment. So let's label F as experiment. All right, as you go through science this year, you're going to be using the scientific process a lot. And remember, order matters in process. Purpose, research, hypothesis, experiment, analysis, and finally, your conclusion. Nice job, fifth graders. You have successfully completed your first video in science. You need to make sure that you bring your completed notes to class so that we can get those glued into your notebook. All right, until then, Work hard, be nice, and we will see you in class.